And we're going to put this phone number in for people who want to call in, who have a comment, or who want to share. An experience. We know it is not easy, but it is a subject that we have to talk about as the Black church and as African American community, because we have been decimated by it. Our relationships, how we deal with people, how we trust people. I think it has an impact on our marriages, our homes, our jobs, our relationships on every level. And so I just think that it is something that has to be dealt with. And so we are going to talk about it just one last night.
Welcome and thank you for choosing freeconferencecall.com. Please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. Thank you. You are the only participant in the conference.
So if someone wants to call in, that number 319 527 2805, access code 811864. If you want to call in, that phone number is 319 527 2805, access code 109. Access code 811864, pound sign. All right. We hope that it will show. And we hope that it will show. We're waiting for someone to get back to us, a specialist to come on and talk about it, but we never, a young lady, in fact, Dr. Cassandra Williams, we're hoping that she would come on and talk with us about some of the effects that she sees in the lives of teenagers as it results of sexual abuse and neglect. But I think her schedule would not allow her or permit her to join us on tonight. And so we are hoping that next week we'll be able to talk about it. Good evening, Sister Ralph. How are you? Excuse me 1 second. I want to sneeze and I want to go get me a bottle of water. I'll be right back. And we need to put this number on this device right here. So please excuse me. That number is 319-527-2805. Access code is 811864 pound. Hey, Sister Anderson, and we are going to pin it there. All right. Hey, Sister Watson. Sister Watson, after this is over with, after this live broadcast is over with, could you give me a call, please, if you don't mind? All right. So, again, we are talking about a subject that is taboo, that the Black church does not like to talk about, that Black families don't like to talk about and deal with, and that is sexual molestation and abuse in our homes, families, communities, and especially within the church. You would not believe the people who have told me that I should not be conducting this conversation. Good morning, good evening, sister. Is that, I can't see from this far away, but Sister White and Sister Johnson, who tell me that I'm opening up a very bad can of worms, and it is easier for them to deal with and live with and hearing about children being abused and people being arrested and whatever than it is for them to talk about it and have conversations. Oh, that's, hey, Sister White, how are you? And Sister Johnson, how are you? I think there's a lot of sexual misconduct in the church, preachers, pastors going with women and deacons and people cheating and stuff like that. I am not trying to brush that under the rug. I'm not trying to say that that's okay. I'm not trying to say that that's all right. And certainly if the pastor or the person that the woman in churches or men in churches, whatever, are sleeping with each other, if they use their power and authority, just like sexual harassment, the boss on the job says, hey, the only way you're going to get this raise is if you sleep with me. If you're a pastor or the preacher or whoever in charge says, well, hey, the only way you'll become an usher or the president of this or the president of that committee, the only way I'll support you is if you sleep with me. Certainly that is wrong. Good evening, Sister Scott. Good evening, Sister Hodges. That is certainly wrong. And it is, it should be reported just like you would at your job. If you have two adults in church, they married to other people, but she want to sleep with the pastor, he want to sleep, whatever they do, those are two consenting adults. And I'm not saying that it's right. It is still fornication. It is still sin. It is whatever the case may be. But that is not a crime. Everything that is wrong isn't necessarily a crime. That is not a crime. Actually, in some states it is. In some states, adultery is still a crime. But it is not a major crime. Those are two consenting adults. People, adults molesting children, that is a crime. And if it's happening inside the church, not only is it a crime, it is an abomination. It is a crime, it is an abomination, and it is disgusting. And I think that we in the Black church do not talk about it. Hello, Sister Ruffin. We do not talk about it. We're afraid to talk about it. We just wait for it to be discovered. And then everybody's like, well, I always thought it. Stop always thought it. If you think, if you suspect, and you have hard enough evidence, try to protect that child. Go talk to somebody. Confront the adult and be like, hey, listen, I want you to know I'm going to be watching you. Every time I see you around a little kid, I'm going to be watching you. My eyes is on you, buddy. My eyes is on you. Yes, sir. And listen, please be clear. Please be clear. There are just as many women who molest young boys as there are men who molest young girls and boys. I see you shake your head, Sister Ralph. I know it is disgusting, but it does happen. That is what Antoine Fisher taught us, how he dealt in relationships and everything. And I rewatched it this week and I saw some new stuff in there, how it impacted him, his relationship, how he was very untrusting, how he wouldn't open up to the young lady and stuff like that. And that was, and finally when he got through, he was able to function and function better. And so it impacts every relationship. It because it impacts you. It has an impact on your life. I mean, it's like you can't say you're the same person you are if you lose an arm, because there's stuff you can do with two arms you can't do with one arm. So to say, well, you know, it didn't affect me, it didn't impact me. Listen, I want to believe you, but that's a serious case of denial, and that does not help. And we're already in denial as a church and as a people and as a culture about it happening. And then to be in denial and pretend that the effects, the impact of it happening is not there. And I just look at what people post. All of these men who don't want to commit ain't dogs, ain't bad men. All of these women who use men, they're not hussies or sluts or just out to use and get men. There is something, there has to have been something happen that mentally, emotionally, spiritually damaged them and thing. All of these women who cannot have children and are at the age of 35, 40, 50, and you can't hear me. I don't know why, sister Scott. I don't know why. Let me check my settings. Audio. Hello, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I don't know why you can't hear me, Sister Scott. I don't know why. Can you hear me now? Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. It shows it. Check the volume on your phone. Let me see if I go in through Facebook. If I go in through this way. Ah. 1 2. It shows it. Check the volume on your phone. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me now, Sister Scott? Hey, Miss Jackson, how are you? Can you hear me now? Because I want you all to be able to hear me. I want you to be able to hear me. Okay. So I think that, you know, my experience has been in working with people with HIV and AIDS and those who've been, some have been sexually molested, has taught me that the same thing can happen to two people and they experience it in a different way, and they act out and they cry out for help in a different way, because each person is unique. Each person's experience is unique, yet drastic, but unique. And so one of the things we have to do is certainly is if you can, don't leave your children or grandchildren with anybody, but set up a way in which to talk to them and let them know it's safe to talk to you. Because what a lot of these predators do is they tell children, they frighten children, they frighten children or fake children out into not telling. So here's how they frighten them. If you tell, I'm going to kill your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, somebody's going to get hurt, or something, or people are going to take you away from your mommy and daddy, and you ain't never going to see them again. And so that frightens children into not telling. The other way is they fake them out into not telling is say, well, don't I give you this? Don't I give you that? Oh, don't you like this? Don't you like that? Well, if you tell mommy and daddy, oh, this is our little secret. And if you tell mommy and daddy, they're not going to let me and you have fun anymore. Uncle such and such or aunt such and such won't be able to buy you ice cream or candy or this and that. Tell your children, damn that. Let your children know if anybody offers you anything to not tell me something, don't take it. And if so, tell me and I'll get you double. Because you have to also get children and people to talk. And listen, don't be afraid. When you get back to your kids, hello, Sister Ruffin, hey, Sister Scott. When you get back to your kids or your children get back to you, don't be afraid to ask them. Hey, I used to ask up until Justin was like 15, 16. I would ask him, anybody touch you? And by the time he got 16, 17, he was back. Oh, daddy, hey, man, listen. Boys get raped too. 15, 16, 17, 18, 20-year-old boys and young men get raped and molested too. And I would all ask them, did anybody touch you? Did anybody say something to you that was inappropriate? Did anybody make you feel a certain kind of way? When he would go to churches and they would drop him off or pick him up, if I couldn't take him or his mother couldn't take him, hey, did this person make you feel this way? Did this person make you feel that way? Hey, and so you have to have these conversations with kids. Listen, it is better to be safe than sorry. It is better to be safe than sorry. And, it's easier to raise a well-rounded child than to try to fix a broken adult. Let me say that again. It is easier to raise a well-rounded child. It's worth the investment, the aggravation, the headache, going that extra mile to raise a well-rounded child than it is to leave it to somebody else to try to fix a broken adult. And that's what happens in a lot of our relationships and people's marriages and stuff like that, is that you have a husband or a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend who's trying to fix a broken adult, and hell, they don't even know what's broken. They have no clue as to what is broken, and they're trying to fix a broken adult, and the adult cannot tell them what is broken because whatever has happened has been so traumatic and traumatized them so that they've not shared it with their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their fiance, their future husband or wife. And so these things have an impact on our relationship. And yes, you have to try to be more patient with people. But then the person who's been a victim of this also has to try to find a way to be more open, to tell it to somebody, to share it with somebody, to confront the accuser, to do what's necessary to get themselves the help necessary so that they can heal from this tragic thing that has happened. And so that's why we're trying to have these conversations. Can you hear me now, Sister Scott? Okay, good, good, good. And so it is important that we as a community, we as a people, we as a society, um, deal with it and confront it and tackle it and talk about it head on. Because listen, if a house is on fire, just because nobody yell out fire, don't mean the house ain't going to burn down. And I think that's what's happening. I'm yelling fire, and their pastor's telling me, shh, stop yelling fire. But ain't none of them got a fire extinguisher. Just because you don't yell fire, don't mean the house ain't going to burn down. The house still going to burn down. At least if you yell fire, you might be able to get somebody out the house. You might be able to save somebody's life, right? But to not yell fire, that ain't gonna stop the house from burning down. And that's what we're being told. Don't yell fire in a house that's burning down. On top of the fact that we are in the burning house fighting with each other. And so we talk about money. We get on people, we complain about people who don't tithe and people who don't give money and people who don't work in the church and all of this other stuff, but we do not talk about the ills. It is almost as if the church does not want to talk about sin. The old preachers used to talk about sin and people who were going to hell and people who were going to bust hell wide open. And people don't want to hear about that. People want to hear, oh, God is going to drop a bucket of money in your backyard. And God is going to make all of your haters kiss your ring. No, he's not. Every enemy ain't going to become your footstool. And watch this. How about you, somebody enemy? How about if somebody seeing you as their enemy? How do you want to be somebody's footstool? How about this? How about when you look in the mirror and you the hater? It ain't people hating on you. You the hater. Oh, but we don't talk about that. Because here, watch this. Me and a friend of mine was talking the other day, and he said, Willie, is a shame. I said, what? He said, it's a shame don't no more sinners come to church. I started cracking up. Right. Because it used to be, that's where sinners came. Now there ain't no more sinners in church. Everybody is perfect and holy. Nobody needs redemption. Nobody needs salvation. Nobody needs repair. Nobody needs restoration. Nobody needs guidance. Everybody knows everything. And I'm saying, apparently, maybe this Bible is a misprint. Because according to the Bible, the reason Christ comes is dies because there is sin and sinners in the world, and there are people going to hell, and he don't want everybody to go to hell. But the way this generation is going and the way preaching and teaching is going now, ain't no sinners. Everybody's too blessed to be stressed. Everybody's just sitting around waiting on God to send down from the sliding board of heaven, the escalator from heaven, because it ain't a stairway in the new church. You see, in the old church, it was a stairway to heaven. In the new church, Sister Hodges, is an escalator going back and forth from heaven and earth. and so, because Negroes don't want to walk up the stairs. We too lazy to walk up the stairs, so we take the escalator, right? So everybody waiting on their elevator to come, and when doors open to get to the bottom, is their bucket of gold right there. And that's just not true. And I think that people are going to church not to get their soul satisfied, but to have their mind pacified. People are no longer going to church to get their soul satisfied. They're going to church to get their minds pacified. And these subjects don't pacify us. talking about sexual abuse and sexual misconduct and sexual harassment in the Black community, in Black households, and in the Black church don't pacify us. That's a problem. They make us have to deal with, and they make us have to look at us, and they make us have to deal with some stuff that we do not want to deal with, and have conversations that we do not want to have. And that just seems ungodly. That seems unholy, and that seems unrighteous to me. And so that is why we have these conversations. So I hope that you all can host watch parties. I was hoping to have some, like I said, Dr. Cassandra Williams, we was hoping that she would have been able to come on to talk about some of the long-term effects, because she counsels girls who currently counsel girls who are in their teens and preteens who have been sexually molested, and give us some pointers on the type of behavior to look out for and notice very early on when a young lady has been molested. I know body odor changes. There's drastic, seeming like automatic growth. I know it says my internet connection is unstable because it is getting ready to storm here. There is hormone imbalances. There's emotional and mental mood swings. There is depression. All of a sudden, either overly depressed or overly energetic and overly hyperactive. That's the word, hyperactive. Either unsensitive and caring, or overly sensitive and caring for their age and for what's going on. Often detached from family and friends. They often become introverted, extremely introverted, or extremely extroverted. And so if there's drastic changes in the clothes and in the way they dress, I mean, if one day, if your granddaughter, 8 years old, is dressing like, a nun, and then she turns 9 and she's dressing like Madonna, something has happened. That's more than just peer pressure. You need to take note of that. You need to serious note of that. If your son likes basketball or baseball, and then all of a sudden I'm not even going out for the team. I hate baseball. I hate basketball. There is something wrong when there's a major shift in attitude. And these are things that, and in talking to people that I counsel who have HIV and AIDS, and a lot of them were molested and raped while they were young boys, young men, and some young women, and turned to homosexuality. Some were bisexual and stuff like that. And they talked to me about the fact that, well, my attitude changed, the way I dress changed, my vocabulary changed, the way I talk changed, and stuff like that. So if there's these drastic changes, if there are these drastic changes in behavior, if there are these drastic changes in attitude, if there are drastic changes in the way they dress, all of these things are signs that there could be something wrong. Now, sometimes it just could be, kids going through those hormone changes, pretty and stuff like that. But let's not chalk everything up to puberty. Listen, you have to be with your nieces, your nephews, your grandkids. You have to be a private investigator. And if their parent, and if you the auntie, grandma, this and that, if their parents don't want to be the private investigator, you be the private investigator. There are groups out there, the National Men Boy Lovers Association, who are trying to solicit Congress to pass laws to make it okay for grown to have sex with little boys. These people are perverted, and a lot of them were probably raped and molested. when and this happened to them. I think I saw a post. I put up a post today where I think in South Carolina, they're getting ready to, you can get life in jail for pedophilia, for being a pedophile, and that's probably where you need to be. And so this is a plague. It is a pox in our household of faith. It is a pox in our community, and it is a pox in our family. And we have to deal with it. If your child tells you there's a family member that they're real about these things with the people who aren't here. Every time you say, we going to Aunt Bert's house, and they like, oh my God. They try to do everything what's going on at your house? Okay, my internet is going in and out because it's storming outside. I can hear it. It's storming outside. Bert, what's going on around at your house that the kids don't want to come around here? You leaving your kids with people, or people coming in your house, and not just sexual abuse, any type of abuse, but especially sexual abuse. Set up a camera. Get those little cameras where you can set it up, and like that Zoom, not that Zoom, the Ring doorbell system. Put one of them Ring doorbell system things in your house so that when you leave, you can monitor your house. Kids go upstairs in their room and have a sleepover, because kids who have been molested molest other kids. I know a story of a 14-year-old boy who had been molested since he was 6. He started molesting. People would call him, his aunts, uncle, babysit the kids. Well, he was molesting his little cousins who were 6 and 7, because an older cousin who was 7 or 8 years older than him had molested him. And so, kids who have been molested molest kids. And so, listen, and I know I don't think Justin ever had a sleepover at our house. And the one sleepover he had for one of his birthdays, it was at a hotel, and all the kids used the pool, and that we had a room for them, but we had a monitor in that room. We couldn't see everything, but to be able to hear their conversation. What are y'all talking about? Y'all 10 and 11 years old. What are you talking about? Girls should still be nasty to you. They should still have the cooties. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. And even then, Carolyn was mad at me because I would ask everybody, ain't none of your children been molested? Carolyn, Willie, yes, I am. I'm damn sure going to ask these people who child going to be standing in the room with my child if their child has been molested, and if they know whether or not their child been molested. Because children molest children. And she was like, I don't give a damn how embarrassed you are, man. Check this out. I'm going to protect that kid because that one is mine. Now, if they too embarrassed to say something, or they say, okay, I don't care. That's my child. I'm not going to put him in jeopardy. So when your daughter or your son tell you, such and such is going to such and such house to sleep over, did you call them people to find out if any of their kids or any of the kids come and been molested? If you got them people number, you call them. Listen, my little granddaughter coming over there. Who all kids going to be over there? Did you ask any of the people if their kids been molested? Because you do know kids who been molested molest other kids, ain't it? And if they get mad or they get embarrassed, and your little granddaughter might be mad at you that grandmommy embarrassed her and she can't go to this sleepover. But when she get 25, 30, and 40, and she talk to the little girls who went to the sleepover, and they tell her, well, such and such father came downstairs and touched us. or such and such brother came downstairs and touched us. She gonna call you grandmama and buy you a damn brand new Rolls Royce because you saved her from that crap. She might be embarrassed now that she ain't had no sleepover, but when she start talking to her friends who had the sleepovers and find out what was going on at the sleepovers, she gonna call grand auntie and say, come on, pick you out of Rolls Royce because you saved me from a fate worse than death. You saved me from a pain and an embarrassment and a humiliation that nobody saw coming. I'd rather them be mad now than depressed later for the rest of their life. And so whatever you have to do to protect your children, you protect them. On these church trips and church outings, I'm chaperoning. I'm going to be a chaperone. That's it. Yeah, I'm chaperoning. Because it happens there. These sleepaway camps, I need to know the name, the background, do an investigation on all. That's why Justin never went to sleepaway camps. I need to know everybody who's there. Until he got to Charlotte, till he got 15 or 16. No. I need to know all the counselors. Well, this person is a counselor. He just here with his cousin, and he can't be here. He's not paid staff. No. Well, we can't tell you who that person is because they're just a volunteer. Then we don't need them volunteering it because I need to know everything about them. No, then they can't volunteer. No, my kid can't go because no. Why you want to? You a grown person. You single. You in your 20s or 30s. You want to spend a weekend with 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds, and they ain't getting paid for it? You better get out my damn face. You better get out my face before you get hurt. You 30. You in your 20s. You got money. You got a nice house, nice car, good job. You're good looking. It's the weekend. You don't have to work. And you want to spend your weekend with 9 and 10-year-olds? And don't nobody thinks that's suspicious? They do that because right. They don't love the kids. They love to rape the damn kids. When I was 30 and I was single, I wish the hell somebody would have asked me about watching. What? Are you stupid? Are you crazy? Hell no, I ain't spending my weekend around a bunch of kids for free at that. No, there's something wrong. Oh, brother such and such. Oh, deacon such and no. Don't give me that. Deke loved the kids, but you don't never see his grandkids with him. Why? Come on, man. Y'all. I mean, there's stuff that we see right in front of our eyes, and we don't ask no questions. We just cool with it. We don't even say nothing. We just cool with it. We don't like it. Don't strike us as odd or strange. How is that? How that doesn't strike you as odd or strange? 25, 30-year-old woman. You've been at work all week. None of your single girlfriends having a girls' night out. You don't want to go to that. You want to go away on a camping trip to keep your homegirl company with a bunch of screaming little kids? Really? That's right, Sister Ross. Something wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. Hey, and not to say that married people don't do it too, but I'm just saying there's some stuff that's suspect. Like that's suspect to me. And we see the signs. in the behavior of our children. We see the suspicion and the suspect in this in the behavior of adults who fight tooth and nail to be around children, and we don't say nothing. Excuse me 1 minute. I'm sorry. I forgot I was expecting the call. Yeah, and so we see the suspect behavior and we don't say nothing. We don't question it. Hey, pastor, how come such and such and her cousin who don't come to church, or Brother Johnson cousin don't go to this church? Yeah. But every year, once a year when we have this trip, Brother Johnson cousin come and chaperone the kids. Why is that, pastor? Brother Johnson church, none. Ain't a member of the church, don't send 25 cents to the church or nothing. But every year when we have this church trip, Brother Johnson cousin come and chaperone the trip. That ain't strange to y'all? I'm the only person who think that's strange. But it happens at our church, and nobody go up to pastor and say, now, pastor, wait a minute now, hold on. Let me get this straight. Miss Susie is single. Miss Williams is single. Miss Johnson is single. They work all week long. And it's a major thing going on, a major concert going on in the city tonight. And instead of these 3 single women going to that major concert together for free, they want to go hang out with these kids. I don't know, pastor. Who else going on this trip? I need to know. Who else going on this trip? Because that don't seem right to me. And the same thing. Because there are couples who do this. There are couples who are sexually perverted and deviant who rape and molest little kids together. I think that's the sickest stuff ever. But that's what they get off on, and I think that's just the sickest, most disgusting stuff ever. I'm not trying to stereotype. You mostly hear that about white people or people of color who are on drugs, but that's the sickest and most disgusting thing ever. Like, y'all two got married because y'all had a common interest in raping and molesting little boys and girls. That's the most disgusting thing ever. And so I think that what has to happen as the church, we need to have this discussion. And I'm going to tell you what's hurting me. I'm not big about numbers. I don't care about numbers. I mean, I put up some posts because I like them. I do. As an exercise. Some posts I put up about stupidness get like 100 or 200 hits and 50 and 60 shares. This post, maybe 7 or 8 people. The most this post ever got was 15. If I put up a post doing a butt naked Zoom, I bet you this thing would explode my computer. I get friend requests from here to Bangkok, China. If I put up a post, live gang fight tonight, going to be zoomed in my living room, I'd have to turn people down. I'd be able to charge money. But this post, you would think more pastors would be on. So even if they can't, not going to talk, they would listen and begin to get the language and some information. You would think more church, you would think more single mothers, you would think more people you would think just more people would be on to listen so that they can figure out what to do to protect their sons, their daughters, their aunts, their uncles, their nieces, their nephews, whomever. The most people I've had on this in this Thursday night thought for this subject was about 12. That was the first night between all three formats. The Thursday night thought that I did the week before, 2 weeks before, I forget I was talking about. But it wasn't anything major. I had like 40 people on. And I was just ranting about whatever. That's who we are. That's who we are. And then we want to know what's wrong with black people, the conversations we need to have. The conversations that lead to repair, restoration, and revitalization. We don't have those conversations. But conversations about stupidity, conversations about nothing, we have those conversations. Maybe next week, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post live gang fight. I'm going to put on Zoom, live gang fight in my living room, live shootout in my living room. I bet you I have 200-300 people in. But that's who we are. We don't want instruction, correction, or direction. That post got about 8 people, 10 people liked it. I think 2 people shared it. Another post I put up today, it got 50, 60 likes and hits and about 12 or 15 shares in less than an hour. So it ain't like they don't see it. You know what I'm saying, Sister Jackson? It ain't like they don't see it. They see it. It's just we staying away from that. Hey, Sister Stewart, we gonna stay away from that. And part of it too, and I'm gonna say this, part of the reason we don't want to deal with some of our stuff as black people is because if we get healed, we no longer have that as a crutch. We like our crutch. We like our excuse. We like our reason. See, if I get healed from this, then people expect me to do better. But if I don't get healed from it, anytime I act out or I do something crazy or stupid because I wanted to do it and too many people get on me, I can say, well, you know, girl, I just wasn't thinking straight. I have been thinking about this, that, and the other thing. And well, that's all right because we know you've been through. Come on, man. Some of us are walking with 3 sets of crutches and all we got is a stub toe. We got 3 sets of crutches and all we got is a hanged toenail because we love our crutch. We love our excuse. And if we get healed, we have no excuse. The crutches get taken and get thrown away. And then we have to stand. Then we have to be the husband, the wife, the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the auntie, the uncle, the mother, the father, the pastor, the deacon, the trustee, the prophet, this, that we are supposed to be and that people need us to be. This way we have this crutch, so if we fall short, We don't have to say, hey, I messed up. We can say, well, the reason I fell short was because of my crutch. See, if you get whole and healed and you mess up, what you got to do is own up to it and say, hey, my bad. I was wrong. I did that. I was wrong. Please forgive me. So that's where we are. So hopefully next week, I'll know by Tuesday or Wednesday if I'm going to have a live expert to come on and talk with us. If not, then we'll change the subject to something else. There's so much going on in the world, but hopefully we'll have a live person, a live expert to come and sit and talk with us via Zoom about some of the effects, the long-lasting effects and the early effects of sexual abuse and molestation, and how it devastates our community. Excuse me, I apologize. And how it damages our community. Again, we start a new position on Monday, behavioral management specialist, working with kids who are displaying behavioral problems in classrooms and taking them out and counseling them and working with them. We start that new position on Monday. But we thank you and stuff like that. So that's going to change our schedule. So starting Monday, our morning meditation will be at 7 a.m. On Sunday, our worship with Willie Wade will be at 8 a.m. starting this Sunday. And then we will adjust the schedule as needed. Right now, I think our Wednesday night prayer will still stay the same. And this Thursday night hour will still stay the same. I think the thing that's going to be most affected because of the hours is going to be cooking with Pastor. And we're going to see, we might have to just do something on the weekends for that, but we'll let you know. We'll keep you posted. All right. God bless you. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope it has been enlightening and empowering and has encouraged you to take a stronger position in the life and in the rearing and the helping rearing of sons, daughters, grandkids, nieces, nephews, godchildren, or whomever you hold dear and special to you. All right. God bless you. Good night. Have a great, great evening. We'll see you here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock for our weekly wrap up. All right. God bless. Bye-bye.